Anthony wrote in from Mountville. I am 67 and my wife is 65. We're both retired, living on Social Security. We purchased our house in 1999 and have finally paid it off, but our property taxes just keep going up to the point that we will have to sell our house and go live in a trailer. In 2005, our property tax was $3,049. In 2015, that's just 10 years later, it was up to $4,850. This has become very difficult for seniors on a fixed income to keep up with. Maintenance and upkeep on a house always goes up. We need tax relief. We've been talking about it already.
Yeah, Anthony, I couldn't agree with you more. It is, and it hits the people who can least afford to pay the property tax. That sounds like, my math is, but 60% increase in 10 years. That's unconscionable. And it's the hardest, the worst kind of tax. These folks they purchased a house in 1999. They paid it off.
Paid it off in 15 years. Not a lot of people do that.
No, yeah. And yet each year they have a payment on that house, the property tax that is increasingly hard to keep up with. So I get it. It's why I called for major property tax relief. I want to do that by shifting a big portion of the burden for funding public education from the local to the state level. We're one of the lowest in the country in terms of the state's share of funding for public education. And that is the biggest problem, because it forces local areas to either cut back or raise taxes, or probably both. And so in places like Mountville, the taxes keep going up. And I'm sure if you talk to the school administrators and the school boards, they're having an increasingly tough time making ends meet at the school level. So they're trying to cut costs and cut investment in education. That's not good for any of us.
So here's a couple who's 67 and 65. And Anthony, I want to throw out here, you may want to go down to the Lancaster County Area on Aging and make sure that you're getting all of the tax assistance that you are eligible for as a senior citizen. I think maybe there are seniors out there who don't know just how much help they can get on their taxes. Maybe this is a case there.
It's a good point, and there are some things, but I think fundamentally Anthony is right in seeing property tax relief, property tax reform as the centerpiece of what has to be done.
Next is Charles from New Paris, and Charles wrote in, I would like to ask the governor, by the way, we get these questions all the time, and I'll explain what I mean in a little bit. I would like to ask the governor if his office would investigate why there's such a difference in the price of a gallon of gas across the state. It seems to me the southern Laurel Highlands have been getting ripped off for several years. Outside of our areas, prices drop as much as 25 cents per gallon. Why is that? Governors don't affect the price of gas,
that's
nor do presidents.
No.
But people always ask about this.
Yeah.
But we do have certain mechanisms in state government for consumer protection. Maybe that's where we should go with this.
Yeah, you have to be a little careful. Having come out of a business background, Charles is right that there are very big variations in terms of prices of all kinds of commodities. I think I've been on the show where people have asked about the price of milk.
They have, yeah.
That varies from place to place. Even the same company in York County will charge a higher price on a higher priced piece of land where they might have paid more for that land. It might have more access to the expressway than the same company selling the same product, exactly the same product, and which they paid the same price for, just 5 miles away. There could be, a big disparity there. So Charles is right. It is the market, and you'll have to ask the people who are setting the prices. It will change dependent on, again, what taxes that group is paying at what site, what they paid for it, what they have to pay their workers there, and what they think the market will bear. So that's the free market working. It's not government. I don't think you want government in there trying to set prices on gasoline.
No, I don't think you do either. But if there's a gouging situation ever, like if during the blizzard prices had spiked up 50 cents overnight, that's something you definitely would want to look into.
Yeah, and in all products, there are people who are very quick to investigate what they think is gouging, and in some cases is gouging. You want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep prices, fair, and that the consumers not getting ripped off by unscrupulous vendors.